people, it's your girl Minna. Welcome back to the channel. You already know what it is. Big up everyone locked in. You know what it is, man. Friday evening settings. International break is still here, but we got some stuff to talk about as always. Make sure you lot hit the like button on arrival. You know the rules, man. You come in, you wipe your feet, you say hi to everyone in the chat, and obviously you hit the like button. Let me know what you lot have been up to today and what you lot been doing during international break. What have you lot been watching stuff? Have you lot been watching international football? I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really been watching international football, but I've been seeing all the news about, you know, the England game, Argentina, Brazil, etc, etc. But big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. Now, Tyrell Malacia, 500 and I think 35 days since his last Manchester United game, has done his first ever interview since coming back from injury with The Athletic. We're going to talk about quite a bit of stuff that he kind of shared in that interview that kind of gave a bit more insight into his situation, the surgery issues that he had, what the club knew and maybe what they didn't know, and of course some nice little gesture from Casemiro that he actually mentions in the interview. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about rumored, so we're going to take it with a pinch of salt, guys, but the rumor from Give Me Sport, reported by I think Dean reported it, and I know Dean actually pretty quite well, reporting that Ruben Amorim potentially will plan to use, or will look to use, Marcus Rashford up top as a number 9. I don't know how to feel about that, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know how to feel about that, but we're going to talk about that, and of course we're going to talk about some transfer rumors. Kerkez, Branthwaite, you know, the same names. You lot know the same names. But big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe as well. Big up to Stu in the chat. CR says, trying Rashford anywhere will get him the sack like it did previous 3 managers. The guy is crap. I think a lot of people, by the way, a lot of people are 50-50 about how they, I don't know. I feel like if there's any player that kind of has the fan base divided a lot, it's always Marcus Rashford. Kind of always has the fan base divided, and I don't know why. And I don't know why people also like to suggest this idea that he himself gets managers sacked. I think that's kind of a lazy argument, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I think that's low-key a little bit of a lazy argument. Splash Skip says, not good, Mina. My country dead last in qualifiers and just lost to Japan. Is that Indonesia? Because I saw that game when it was like 2-0 today. Lost to Japan 4-0 at home. Still have hope though. I mean, with the World Cup now, well, the next World Cup is 48 teams, and I think each region gets a couple of extra teams, right? You never know. You never know. What's the teams that normally qualify from that part of the world is normally like Korea, Japan, Saudi last qualifiers, Australia, I think, have qualified a couple of times as well. But I think each region will now get more teams for the World Cup, because it's obviously, I think, 48 people. Big up to Yahya in the chat, guys. I just, you know, before I went live, I was eating something and I bit it very weird, and now I've got the worst toothache. I don't know what it is, but we're gonna persevere. We're gonna get through this stream because I took a day off yesterday and I didn't stream yesterday. But Ruben Amorim, I'm sure you guys have seen it. I'm sure you guys have seen everything about Ruben Amorim bumping into a bunch of people doing a tour of Manchester United Stadium. He spoke to media, and actually 7 p.m. UK time today, exclusive interview drops from Ruben Amorim and Manchester United TV. Apparently, it's only going to be exclusively on MU TV for today, and then tomorrow it'll be available on the internet. But you guys already know that all the aggregators on Twitter are going to come through with the quotes. You guys already know that. So you don't really we don't have to worry about, oh my God, I ain't got MU TV, I won't be able to watch. Don't worry, man. You know people are going to be posting it on the internet. But a lot of things Ruben Amorim was saying, they dropped, Man United dropped a little teaser video, if you want to say, is like a 30-second, 1 minute video of him talking and him going through Old Trafford. I don't know what it is, but one thing for me, guys, that I've said I like about Ruben Amorim, it's the way he speaks. It's the way he speaks, his communication style, and just the manner in how he's able to articulate himself. That goes a long way. I think it also helps that he's quite young. Man United, I've been historically used to old managers. Maybe not Ollie, maybe Ten Hag, not so much, but Jose Van Gaal, you know, Sir Alex Ferguson way back. You know, we've been used to old managers. So I think him being young as well kind of allows him to resonate with the younger fans. It's not me calling myself one of the younger fans. Big up to Stu with the super chat, says, I'm bored of Netflix. I want Premier League back. Is anybody going to watch the boxing on Netflix tonight? I know that's so off topic, guys, but is anybody watching the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson boxing match on Netflix? Because firstly, that is so random for it to be on Netflix. So random. But if you UK time, I think the coverage starts at 1, but apparently the boxing starts at like 2, 3 a.m. Yeah, 1 a.m. today. You know what, guys? I don't really watch boxing. I'm sure I've shared this before. I watch AJ fights here and there. I watched Fury fights here and there, but I'm actually gonna watch this just because I'm really intrigued to see. Because isn't Mike Tyson like 50 years old? Isn't he really old in comparison to Jake Paul? And obviously, Jake Paul is not a professional. Like, he's not a professional boxer like Fury and, you know, Mike Tyson and Ali and all of them. So it's gonna be very interesting. Let me know if you lot are gonna watch it as well. His 2 assistant coaches are 28 and 29. You know, that's funny because they are technically, if they were footballers, they would be approaching their prime, right? If they were if Ruben Amorim's assistant coaches were footballers, they would be in their prime. I'm the same age as his coaches, guys. I'm the same age as his coaches, but I'm not an ageist. For me, is the same as a young footballer. If you are good enough, you are old enough. You don't like. It's the same thing. If you are a coach, a football coach, you don't have to be of a certain age to be a qualified football coach. I know that a lot of people, by the way, if you're not familiar, in Europe, especially in some of the football associations, Portugal, for example, is one of them. You can study a qualification at the age of 18 as a football coach, and then like kind of progress through the football associations coaching ranks, and then eventually do your UEFA A and UEFA B. So these coaches are as much qualified as anybody else. And I'm actually glad, guys, that we're moving into a way in football where coaches don't have to be ex-footballers. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I actually think it's kind of nice that you don't have to be an ex-footballer anymore to be a coach, or to be kind of like it's like punditry, right? Nowadays, people act like in order to be a pundit, to be on television, to be on radio, to be a commentator, you have to be a former player. It's not like that. If you've studied the game and you've kind of mastered the analysis of it, you can be a pundit, you can be a commentator, you can be on TV presenting. And it's the same way with football coaching. If you've done your accolades, you don't have to be a former player to become a coach. But I'm sure a lot of you guys saw what Ruben Amorim had to say yesterday, and I'm looking forward to the interview that he drops later on with Manchester United TV. But he said, talking about Old Trafford, and his first game at Old Trafford, correct me if I'm wrong, is against Bode. It's Ipswich and then Bode, and then it's Everton the week after at home. So his first Premier League game at home will be against Everton, but his first game at Old Trafford will be against Bode in the Europa League. And he spoke about Old Trafford, and he said, you watch it on TV and you know how big and impressive it is. When you are here, you can feel it, and I can feel the history. I'm really, really proud to be Manchester United's coach. It's a real honor to be here. I'm really excited to see him walk out at Old Trafford, guys. I agree, Minna. Sometimes you need a different viewpoint in terms of experience. I agree, man. Not me and you agreeing for once. Big up to Gamer TV, says, well done, Minna. Honestly, I thought Ruben was short, but he's actually tall, and also he does kickboxing. What are you gonna say? What are you trying to say? He's gonna bat up guys in the dressing room. I don't know, man. It was nice. It was for me. I'm looking forward to seeing what Ruben Amorim has to say in his interview. Of course, as fans, we're just gonna lap it up, guys, because that's what we do. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what he has to say. Number one, number two, I think it's just this is building up the hype more for his first game as Manchester United manager. Really and truly, that's what he's doing. He's going to take his first coaching session reportedly on Monday when he gets his visa kind of stuff sorted. He'll have his first official coaching session with Manchester United on Monday. And there's still quite a few players that are there at Manchester United, at Carrington, that haven't gone on international duty. Now, just a quick word on this guy here, yeah, because I'm seeing, obviously, it's international break, guys. It's international break, in case I haven't mentioned it like 50 times today, but it's international break. And I'm seeing a lot of people doing their team of the season so far, right? And I'm just shocked that Onana is not getting any prop. Now, I'm not saying he should be in everybody's team of the season, but he has the most clean sheets in the league so far for a team that has sucked all the last 3 months, yeah? Number one. Number two, most shots prevented as a goalkeeper. Number three, I think a big thing is, I don't know, when I judge players, I look at how they were last season. And he has been a huge step up from what he was last season, especially this time last year. I mean, in the latter stages of last season, I think he really started to find his feet. But this time last season, guys, people were calling for his head. Let's be honest. People were calling for his head after the Champions League performances. Let's be honest, guys, and let's give credit where credit is due. Andre Onana has been probably, I would say, Manchester United's second best player. I don't know if that's a hot take. Let me know if you lot agree. Let me know if you lot disagree. But he has been Man United's second best player this season. And it's not just for me about what the numbers say, the shots prevented, XG prevented, all of that. But it's also the eye test. You think about certain games that Manchester United nick a point under Erik ten Hag, and it could have been a completely different story without Andre Onana. You think about that Palace game at Selhurst Park. You think about the Europa League game against Fenerbahce. Multiple games over the last 3 months that he has saved us points. So I got to give credit where credit is due. But comparing it to last year was horrible, so he had to improve. So I don't think we should do that. But yeah, he's been good. A few of you guys are agreeing. Yusuf says, I agree. Onana should be the future United captain. I don't think he'll be a future United captain. I'm not going to lie. I think De Ligt will. I actually think De Ligt could become a future Manchester United captain or a semi-captain. What's it called? Vice captain. What am I talking about? Co-captain. Vice captain. Now, just quickly before we kind of get into transfer news, I do want to talk about roles that players might have under Ruben Amorim. Like I've said time and time again, this is just us speculating, right? This is really just us speculating. Look how different Bruno Fernandes has been under life after Erik ten Hag. 5 assists, by the way, in a season that started off so poorly for Manchester United. And let's be honest, Bruno Fernandes was not having the best of seasons under Erik ten Hag. When you think of 5 assists, that's actually not too bad. But you also look at the chances created, you look at the goals, you look at the assists, etc., etc. I've always kind of shared this sentiment, and I'm really keen. This is why I'm really keen for Ruben Amorim era to start, because I need to see where these players are going to play. I need to know who's going to be further up the pitch, who's going to be in the middle of the park. I've always been under this impression, and I don't know if you guys agree, but Bruno Fernandes, you play him as close to the goal, you will get goals, you will get assists. When you force him, I think, to play in a deeper role, and this is where this debate about whether Bruno will transition into becoming an 8 as he kind of ages, the more I think about it, the more I think absolutely not. I don't think Bruno should go deeper down the pitch, because that is, in my opinion, where you tend to see a lot more of the erratic part of his footballing game. Like, if you think about the last 3 months, right? And you think about his average, just think about his average position. Unfortunately, I don't have a graph to show it. But you think about games that United have not performed well in, or maybe threw away leads. You think about Brighton, you think about Liverpool, you think about Spurs. Just think of where Bruno's average position tend to have been in those sort of games. And then you look at life after Erik ten Hag, and you think about where has Bruno been playing and where has he been performing a lot better. And for me, it's clear as day. You put Bruno as close to the goal as possible, you will get the most output. Now, I don't know if you guys agree. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think United will go and sign a 10 next summer? I don't think they will. I don't think United will. I think if United have money for a big transfer, I think it goes on a striker. I really think it goes on a striker. If they got 70, 80, 90 million to throw at a player, I think it goes on a striker. I don't think it goes on a 10. Now, you look at the worlds of 10s. You look at, Musiala probably going to sign a new contract. He's probably going to sign a new contract with Bayern Munich. I saw that Xabi Alonso is expected, obviously, to leave in the summer. And on top of that, is expected to probably join Real Madrid. Grimaldo is going to leave. What's the likelihood? Grimaldo leaves, maybe Boniface leaves, and Florian Wirtz leaves. I don't know. But you think of all the 10s. If you look at Dani Olmo, obviously joining Barcelona. I don't think United's priority right now would be to sign a creative player behind a striker. I mean, how can you sign a new 10, when you ain't even know, you're not even sure about who you're playing up top? We're seeing 1 minute it's Zerxi's leaving, Rashford's in the like, come on. We don't even know who's playing up front. So United need to get that in order, I think, before they do anything else. We'll probably sign a wing back, centre backs, and a striker, maybe some midfielders. MC12 says we need a left-sided centre back. Don't trust Lisandro personally. I actually think Man United, and again, this is another hot take. Yeah, clearly today we're just doing hot takes, but this is a hot take. I think United will prepare to move away from Lisandro Martinez in the coming seasons. I think an idea of Jarrad Branthwaite, and we're going to come to that. The idea of Jarrad Branthwaite, Lenny Yoro, Matthias de Ligt, I feel like that is the starting back three. If United have that, Lisandro Martinez probably doesn't feel like he wants to be, a backup option, but equally so could Lisandro Martinez, I don't know, I don't like Licha, by the way, at left back. I don't like it. I saw it live at the Community Shield, did not like it. I saw it multiple times this season, did not like it. I think Lisandro Martinez is either a centre-back, or I don't know if the idea of him at DM would be a thing. Wing-back and striker are the only signing we really need as a priority. I agree. This is the potential lineup that United could have for Ruben Amorim's first game as Manchester United manager. Ipswich away, they've only just got their first win of the season just before the international break. Now, I think the back line kind of, I don't know. I don't see Lenny Yoro starting. And I don't know. I just feel like a young player who has come back from injury. Obviously, he's been training in the with the first team. I just don't see them throwing him in immediately when, he hasn't really had a chance to get up to match fitness. Now, for me, wing back position, this is a prediction, by the way. This is just a prediction. Mazraoui at right wing back. I think it'll be between Mazraoui and Diallo. I actually wouldn't be shocked, guys. I wouldn't be shocked if it's Diallo at right wing back and Mazraoui at left wing back, or vice versa. Like, I genuinely wouldn't be surprised. No Kobbie Mainoo in the midfield because, again, another young player rehabilitating from injury. So I just don't see them throwing him in immediately. The front three, sorry. I like it. I try to predict my best guys who will play in Amorim's system. And I just, what I realized in this do you guys feel like this system is a lot more restricted than the traditional 4-2-3-1 that United play? I don't know, maybe because I just feel like we have way too many, looking at this formation, I feel like we've got way too many attackers. Like, is it just me that thinks that? Because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, how am I fitting Rashford in? How am I fitting this person in? How am I fitting that person in? Like, I'm just like, oh my God, United are genuinely going to have to bench a few good players. And that is a difficult, I think, decision to make. Now, the Casemiro Ugarte midfield is interesting. Because for me, from what I've understood in Amorim's system, one wing back is used predominantly to attack, and one wing back is used predominantly to defend. Now, Garnacho is not the best of defenders, so I hope that if United do look at the option of playing him at wing back, that there's someone there to kind of ease the pressure off him defensively. Because if it's purely just for his pace and his ability to get up and down the back, up and down the sideline, then fair enough. But one guy that I think will absolutely, rightfully so, deserves to be in Amorim's lineup is Amad Diallo. For me, Amad Diallo absolutely deserves to be in that starting lineup. I look at this three, and I think out of these three, you lot know I love Rashford. I like Garnacho. I think he's okay. And I'm a big fan of Amad Diallo. And I look at these three, and I think based on this season, number one, based on what I think they could offer in the system, number two, and number three, based on their talents and their ability, Amad should be the starter out of all of them. And stats don't lie, guys. Numbers don't lie. Eye test, that could lie. But numbers do not lie. Look at the chances created between Garnacho, Rashford, and Amad, number one. Number two, look at the final third passes between the three of them. Number 3. Look at the dribbles completed, distance carried, i.e. how far they carry the ball, and the shots taken. Now, the only thing that Ahmad does not exceed in comparison to these three is shots taken per 90. Because we know Garnacho takes way more shots. Amad Diallo, in the first couple of games that he was playing, wasn't really taking shots. And I remember always saying that he needs to be more selfish and take more shots. Now, look at his final third passes. He's always trying to find that pass into a threatening position, number one. Number two, look how much distance he's able to carry the ball through, sorry. For someone who gets ridiculed, people praise Garnacho a lot and Rashford a lot for dribbling, but Ahmad is by far the more superior one out of the three of them, and I think that's pretty. I think it's pretty obvious. Now, just quickly before we get on to talking about Tyrell Malacia, Juve and Pogba contract terminated. You know what's funny, guys? I collect Pogba shirts. Yeah, fun fact. I get Pogba shirts all the time. Last season before he got banned, I didn't get one because I just felt like the guy's injured. He's not gonna be. I didn't get a Juve one. I thought he's not gonna be playing football. He's injured. Shit happens. I only have one shirt of his from his recent spell at Juve. I got his old shirts when he was wearing number 10, the pink one, and then I have a bunch of United shirts. What are we saying? What are we saying? Pogba to United. Now, reportedly, Carve at Sky was reporting today that he's training individually in America. I mean, we know that because he was on stream with Speed. I think it's a matter of time before he's on stream with like Kai Cenat or someone. But he was on stream, so we know he's in America. He wants to play for a team that's in the Club World Cup. The Club World Cup has a lot of teams in it: Man City, Real Madrid, PSG. There's a lot of teams in the Club World Cup. If he was fit, and by the way, this is just ifs because we genuinely don't know if he's fit. The guy ain't played a competitive match for how long now? When was the last time he actually played? I genuinely need to check when was the last time he played a competitive match. Now, I know there's a lot of teams, I can't lie, a talent of Pogba. I think there's a lot of teams out there that could do with him in midfield, but he played 2 games in the last season. That's crazy. But the problem with him is, despite his talent and everything, there's no guarantee that you're going to get a fully fit Pogba. And I'd be a hypocrite if I sat here and I criticized other players for consistently being injured and advocating for someone like Pogba. But I've seen this conversation flying around, by the way, quite a bit online. I've seen this conversation flying around quite a bit of recent. So just quickly on some transfer updates, because we spoke about this the other day about Anthony reportedly looking at his options to leave Manchester United. His agent has spoken and said Anthony has no intentions of leaving Manchester United. That sounds like he's holding us hostage by saying he has no intention of leaving. I would have preferred you to say, he wants to fight for the badge, he wants to fight for a spot, but you just said he has no intention of leaving. That sounds like a threat. But of course his agent will say that. I've seen a lot of people trying to downplay the news of his source, saying, people just reporting stuff for that. Of course his agent is going to come out and say he's got no intention of leaving. We gave him, he was on 20k a week. And we gave him 200. I'm saying we as if we paid him, but Manchester United gave him 200k a week. Why would he leave? His family's set for life. Generations to come are set for life. He doesn't need to go anywhere. But I hope he has better footballing aspirations than to sit in that position. Let's actually start with, before we get to talking about Rashford, let's talk about Tyrell Malacia. Have you guys read, before I go into the details, have you guys read the article on The Athletic? How would you feel if Pogba went to Arsenal? I'd be upset, but it is what it is. He's the guy who said, Pogba said in an interview that he was about to join Man City on a free when he left United. So the only reason why he didn't was because of the robberies that was happening at his house in Manchester. He felt like he needed to leave the UK. He said if he didn't do that and he had spoken to Pep, he would have joined Manchester City. I would have to just get rid of all my shares. But if a lot of you guys haven't read it, like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, Tyrell Malacia has done his first ever interview post-recovery after his first game for Manchester United's under-21s. 535 days since he made his first appearance for Manchester United. And he gives a lot of insight into kind of what happened and what went down. He spoke about this injury that kind of occurred, guys, and it didn't come out of nowhere. He said he felt it towards the end of his first season at Manchester United. He started to feel discomfort around his left knee. It wasn't a major issue at first, but obviously as you continue to play on it, it kind of develops into a bigger problem. Now, just for some, I'm going to go into the details of his injury so that we kind of know the ins and the outs. The problem that he had with his left knee, he had a tear in his left meniscus, which is, from my understanding, it's a cartilage in your knee that stops your that's in your knee joint, that will stop your thigh bone and your shin bone rubbing together. So it's a cartilage in your it's in your joint, it's in your knee. And he had a tear there. Now, it was causing a bit of uneasiness in his debut season at Manchester United, but it was manageable. That's what he said. He said it was manageable. From there, where is this from? He just did an interview. Yes, sir. It's on The Athletic. It's on The Athletic. So what happened that season? Obviously, if you guys remember, we played Man City in the FA Cup final after his final. So he didn't play in the FA Cup final. He didn't come on as a sub or nothing. But he played the week before that in the last game of the season against Fulham. After that, it was international duty. He went and joined the Netherlands in Rotterdam, and it was a few weeks into the off season. So international break is over, a few weeks into the off season, and he realized that it was continuing. This issue in his left knee was continuing. He notified Manchester United's medical staff, and between Malacia and Manchester United's medical department, they decided that surgery was the best decision. Now, there was an option to not have surgery, but in the long term, it would have been a bigger issue. Now, at this point, we're entering the second year under Erik ten Hag. And they're getting ready to go to pre-season tour in America, but Malacia stays back. So do you guys remember there was a picture of Rashford and Malacia together? I think they're on a private jet or something, or they were. That was, remember, the last sighting that we had of Malacia, and that was in the summer. It was around July time. That was the last sighting we had of him. Now, he didn't obviously join Man United on pre-season tour. Man United's preference was for Malacia to have the operation in London with a medical team, with a doctor recommended from Manchester United. However, Malacia requested to go back to the Netherlands and use his personal surgeon of choice. Manchester United agreed to this. The surgery happened 2 weeks after Malacia returned back to Man United to begin his rehab. But then at this point, they realized that it was actually going to be a bigger problem, because the surgery that had happened, they had a scan, etc., that showed that there was still fragments of the cartilage present in the knee, and that was stopping him from healing properly. So the other option was, after that, either A, leave it and let time kind of run its course, or B, have another surgery which would further delay the rehab, but it would be the better option. So at that point, Manchester United went with the second surgery. And that's when, if you lot remember, fast forward all the way to December, we're nearly halfway into Erik ten Hag's second season. Do you guys remember Reguilon goes back to his team from ending his loan spell at Manchester United? Luke Shaw's still in and out of the team. Malacia's still nowhere to see, and everybody's thinking, well, where is this guy? Now, I feel sorry for him. Because he spoke a lot about it in this interview, about the internet speculating where he was. You know, I remember people making jokes, and the article actually referenced it, people making jokes about how he was probably in hiding with Princess Kate, the princess of the royal family, because she was also not seen for a long time for medical reasons. People were making jokes as to whether he was actually real in the first season. he said that he didn't see any of this stuff. But unfortunately, obviously, people in his family, his friendship circle, etc., see this. Now, during his recovery from his surgery, he left Manchester and he went back to Holland, the Netherlands. He went back to the Netherlands. And that is why he was rarely ever seen at Old Trafford. Now, there is a stint, I don't know if you guys remember, towards the latter stages of the season where we started to see him more and more at Old Trafford, but that's towards the end of the season. That's when we realized, oh, he's still here at United. But he was in the Netherlands for a lot of it. He was working, with his doctor, his medical team, and of course with the specialists at Manchester United. At this point, obviously, he's now recovered, and I'm really happy for him because it's been, how long has it been? 18 months? It's been about 18 months since he last played for United. And now we're seeing him more and more in the public eye. I remember the first time I actually noticed that he was still at Manchester United at Carrington. There was a video of Hannibal Mejbri and someone else playing Guess Who on the Man United YouTube channel. And he walks past as they're playing the game. And they didn't edit it out or anything. So clearly they wanted him to know. He also spoke about, obviously, and this is going to be a perfect segue, he spoke about the people that he's closest to that kind of checked in on him every day. No surprise, Marcus Rashford being one of them, Mason Mount, he said, Bruno Fernandes. And he also spoke about, obviously, the FA Cup final, the second time round. Now, if you don't remember the second time round, he was there. Remember, we saw him going up the stairs. Now, he said, and this is something that kind of sticks out to me because it's about Casemiro. And I think this is why it's important to have these kind of personalities and maybe characters in the dressing room. He spoke about how when Man United were going up to go and get the trophy and get their medals, he said to them, because he wasn't listed on the FA Cup team list, he was not entitled to a medal. So he was like, you guys go up, I'm going to meet you guys in the dressing room and like we'll carry on the party from there. But Casemiro took him aside and said, you have to come up the stairs with us. And I remember he was hobbling up the stairs with his crutches and he went up. And then he confirmed, so it was rumoured after the FA Cup final, but he's confirmed it in this interview that Casemiro gave him his FA Cup medal. And you lot are probably thinking, well, FA Cup medal is nothing to somebody that's won multiple La Ligas and Champions Leagues, etc. It's true. An FA Cup is probably nothing, but it's about the thought. Number one, Casemiro knew that Malacia was going through such a tough time. He knew that Malacia was going through such a tough time. It's a way, in my opinion, to make someone feel like they are part of the team. If there's anything that you can do to make someone feel like they're part of the team, Casemiro wasn't like Mason Mount or Rashford or Bruno that was calling him every so often or texting him and checking in on him. But when it really counted, he made him feel like he was still part of the team, despite the fact that Malacia kind of mentions it, how he felt bad that Man United were going through so many injury problems, and he basically just added to that list of injury problems rather than being fit and available for the manager to use you and bring you in. He felt bad for that. I like that about Casemiro. Like, everyone can have their opinions about Casemiro. I've said this time and time again, but for me, it's important to have people like that in the dressing room. Now, just on the topic of Marcus Rashford, and like I said, it'll be a perfect segue to this topic of Marcus Rashford. Reported by Dean Jones from Give Me Sport, Ruben Amorim would like to, or will plan to, or will try to use Marcus Rashford up top as a number 9. Now, this is really interesting to me. And the reason why it's really interesting to me, because I don't know if you guys remember that interview that Marcus Rashford did with Gary Neville. Do you guys remember the interview? And I can't remember what it was called. If it was on Gary Neville's channel or was it on Sky, where they walk through a park and they talk for like 20, 30 minutes. And he does it with a lot of people. I remember he did this interview with Marcus Rashford and he spoke to, and they were talking about, playing up top, playing out of position, playing on the right, etc. And Marcus Rashford talked about how much he struggled playing up top, playing with his back to goal. Now, if you think about, and this is just me kind of planting the seed for a discussion. If you think about how Sporting used Gyökeres up top, right? It wasn't really a traditional hold up the ball, back to goal kind of striker. It's use your pace, use your strength to get past your man, and you need to strike the ball very well when you're in front of goal. I look at that and I think, okay, that could totally be a reason to use Marcus Rashford as a 9. But then I think about just what I've seen from Marcus Rashford as a 9, and maybe it's a bit harsh. I don't know. Maybe it's harsh for me to judge him off of him playing it as a 9 in Amorim's system, because it might not have necessarily always been the case. Not Amorim's system, sorry, Ten Hag. How he played as a 9 in Ten Hag's system, it might not always necessarily be the case where, you know, he wasn't the best of number 9s, but it was an alternative option compared to what United had at the time. At the time, we had Weghorst, we had Martial that was never available either. United got rid of Cristiano Ronaldo, etc., etc. Now, if this is a short-term plan, I'm all for it. I'm all for it if it's a short-term plan. But I don't think that Marcus Rashford is a number 9. And I will continue to die on that hill. Like, I just genuinely don't see him playing as a number 9. I don't think he has the mindset. You know what it's like, guys? I know it's not, I'm not saying they're the same, like, talent, but Kylian Mbappe, for me, is not a number 9. He can't play as a number 9. You see how imbalanced Real Madrid's front line is when Kylian Mbappe tries to play up top. You see how imbalanced France were when he tried to play as a number 9. It just didn't look good. Even at PSG, Kylian Mbappe never looked good as a number 9. He never looked good, which is why they had to go out and get Kolo Muani, etc. Marcus Rashford, for me, is of that kind of shade. He is not a number 9. He's a player that likes to play on the left and come inside as an inside forward. He likes to drift in onto his right foot. Has he been doing it to the best of his abilities this season? No, he hasn't. But equally with saying that, I don't think Man United should try to fit square pegs into round holes, because that is what we've done a lot with previous managers. If a player does not fit in a certain system, sell them. And I think it will take some time, personally, for Man United and Amorim to decide who doesn't work. And I really like Marcus Rashford. And I've said this time and time again. What I would love to see is Marcus Rashford lifting a Premier League trophy with Manchester United. Like, seeing him lifting the Europa League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, I would love to see Rashford lift the Premier League with Manchester United. But if it's not going to happen, because his type of profile has to be, like, you have to kind of mold a system around the type of profile he is, it might be the best option for Manchester United to just look for alternatives. Now, I always say this, Marcus Rashford is Manchester United's most sellable asset right now. You look at everybody in the team, Marcus Rashford is the one that can get you the most money, 100% profit, PSR tick. Like, he ticks all those boxes. However, I also think it's important to have academy players of success in the team. So, I don't know. Let me see what you lot are saying. Can he be the left number 10 then? Ain't Amorim's 10s like to float from their position? They do. And this is why I said it's going to be an interesting one for Amorim, because he's got Bruno Fernandes that likes to play as a 10. He's got Amad Diallo that can play as an inside forward. He can play, you know, in this space behind the striker. You got Marcus Rashford as well. You got Joshua Zirkzee, who I think could play there essentially as a second striker. I think he could do that as well. I think Amorim's going to have a lot of alternative options to use if maybe something else isn't working. But, you know, you look at those players and you're gonna think to yourselves, which ones deserve to start? I think looking at Man United's squad right now, I can say there's a couple of players that probably deserve to start because they've been consistently good. I think Mizraoui deserves to start. I think Onana deserves to start. I think De Ligt deserves to start. I think Amad deserves to start. Everyone else, and Casemiro, I would say. Everyone else for me is fair game, honestly. And that's just going off of this season, by the way, guys. I'm just going off of the last three or so months. Maybe this is Amorim's way of saying that Rashie fits the 9 more than other positions in his system. That's true. It could be that. I just think, you know, when a player is of the age of 27, I think it's too late to try and mold them into the kind of player that you might want to mold them into. But equally with saying that, Man United this season, they will need goals, right? Man United will need to score goals. Marcus Rashford is United's most prolific goal scorer. Even if you guys don't agree, you look at the entire team, it's A, Rashford, B, Bruno Fernandes. They are the guys with the most goals for Manchester United out of everyone, albeit that most of the players are new. But you guys get my gist. If you want someone or you need goals, if you need goals, you need to play the people that historically were getting you goals. Now, I could also counter my own opinion and be like, you know what? But Rashford hasn't been scoring goals this season. I think he's got 4 goals in all comps. I remember I said, guys, that Rashford's scoring 25 goals in all competitions this season. We're only on 4 and we're in November. He needs to score 21 in the next 6 months. Otherwise, I have to bite my words. But Mina is predictable in that formation for Rashi as a striker. Otherwise, where will he play? I knew this would happen in a 3-4-3. It's true. For me, there's no other position. I think for Rashford in Amorim's system, it's either the second you're playing as a 10 or the inside forward behind the striker, or you're playing up top. Rashford is not a wing back. I've seen people kind of allude to that idea of having Rashford as a left wing back. He's not a left wing back, and you're not going to turn him into one now. It's more likely you will get something out of Rashford playing up top, in my opinion, than you would playing as a left wing back. Simple as that. If we had improved just a little bit more and was clinical more, we would be in and around 4th to 6th, despite being worse. We are not that far off from Chelsea, which we should have beaten. Where will Zexi play? We don't know. He could play in a 10. He could play up top. He might not even be Ruben Amorim's cup of tea, and Ruben Amorim might actually, decide to let him go. I think Zexi is the only player that I'm really unsure of. I'm really, really unsure of. The only way Rashford gets a Premier League medal is if someone gives him this. That's mean. That's mean. But guys, be sure to hit the like button. The views and the likes are not even adding up, guys. The views and the likes are not even adding up. Not for daily dose of Mina. Mina wants to replace Højlund with Rashford. Where have I said that I want to replace Rashford with Højlund? I know Luman is a troll, but where have I said that I want to replace Rashford with Højlund? Let me know where I've said that. If you've got video evidence. Otherwise, just you be in the comment section and just be quiet. Simple as that. Sorry, guys. I shouldn't tell people to be quiet in the comment section. I shouldn't say that. That's not nice. That's not really nice. But with one Englishman potentially could leave Manchester United, another one might actually arrive. You know what? Yeah, guys, just on the Jarrad Branthwaite thing. If United are truly after him, please let's not kind of put all our eggs in one basket with the hopes of Everton getting relegated. Now, I saw Everton's new stadium the other day. I saw a video of it. And it would be a damn shame if they spent all that money. If they spent all that money on a stadium just to play in the Championship. What is, by the way, does anybody know statistically, if a team get relegated, how likely do they come back and get promoted again? Like, what's the likelihood? Because I think, when was the last, I remember Brentford came up a couple of years ago. Obviously, Villa came up not years back. I feel like I actually think if Everton go down, and this is maybe another hot take of mine, I think they might end up like the derbies and whatnot, the teams that don't ever come back up. I don't mean like they're going to be as bad as Derby County were, but I'm talking about, we've seen what happened with people like Reading, like QPR. A lot of teams that get relegated that haven't ended up coming back. What's that team that Portsmouth? When I think about the Premier League heritage, Barclays heritage, yeah, I think of teams like Portsmouth, Swansea, West Brom, all of them type of teams. Mad take. I know it's a bit of a mad take. But Jarrad Branthwaite, Manchester United have been hunting him down for the last... how long has the links been? It's been like... Has this been the second summer transfer window, or was this the first one of Man United actually pursuing him actively? I think this was the first summer transfer window. But his name has been in and around Manchester United's hemisphere for some time now. And Man United reportedly continue to keep track of him and his progress at Everton. Contract talks have stalled with Everton months ago. So Manchester United, if you lot remember in the summer, Man United and Jarrad Branthwaite reportedly agreed terms, personal terms. I'm not surprised that Jarrad Branthwaite probably, if he's going to sign a deal with Everton, probably is telling them to match what United were offering him. And if that's not the case, Everton will be forced to sell him. They will be forced to sell him because they don't want their asset to depreciate. Now, he's a player that if you guys... I watched him a bit, funnily enough, my first exposure to Jarrad Branthwaite was when I was watching PSV under Ruud van Nistelrooy. And I didn't even know he was there on loan. I actually thought at the time that he was a PSV player. And then I found out he was there on loan. And then obviously kept track of him whilst he's been in the Premier League. Now, there's a lot of reasons I think they want him. I think there's a lot of reasons why Man United want him. And I think the backline that they're trying to build, I mentioned this earlier in the stream, I think the backline that they're trying to build is a Jarrad Branthwaite, Lenny Yoro, Matthias de Ligt backline. Now, would that be the tallest backline in the Premier League, guys? Because that's a very tall backline. And you look at that backline, and I know it's hypothetical and there's no likelihood that that backline will become a thing, but that is a very balanced backline in terms of the attributes that each player has and the attributes that the players don't have. So, for example, I feel like if there's an attribute that maybe Matthias de Ligt doesn't have, Lenny Yoro will have it, and vice versa. You guys kind of get my drift. Now, he's not the only player that Man United are keeping track of. This guy here, this left back here, left wing back, if you want to call him that, is another player that Man United are keeping an eye on. Now, there's a lot of wing backs in the market. I think you think of Alvaro Fernandez. I'm going to stand on business for the rest of my life that Man United should never have sold him in the first place. I understand they couldn't guarantee him maybe playing time because he can play left back, but his biggest strengths are playing as a wing back. And I watched him a lot at Preston North End. But if you couldn't guarantee him playing time and you had the idea that you were going to get a manager that plays a back free, you should have just sent him on loan again. Of course, he probably didn't want to go out. I think he probably didn't want to go out on another loan spell. But I don't think Kerkez is, again, the end-all or be-all of wing-backs that United should target. I think United should definitely target... I would really like them to go for Alphonso Davies. However, it was reported yesterday or the day before that Real Madrid are set to go all out to sign Alphonso Davies and Trent Alexander-Arnold. And apparently they're going to go and target Saliba as well in the summer. So I can't lie. If Real Madrid managed to get Trent and Alphonso Davies both on frees, fair business to them. Fair business to them. I would like Alphonso Davies. He would be my first choice. And then my second choice, I would say, would probably be... I would get Robinson from Fulham. I don't know why no team is looking at him as an option. And I don't know why. I think he would be a legit option. I think Aït-Nouri is a legit option. I think Kerkez is a legit option as well. And I think that Manchester United, out of all the positions that they probably need to fill, yes, a striker is necessary. Yes, a centre-back is necessary. But I think left wing-back is probably the biggest priority for Manchester United just because of the lack of players that they have there. Let's be honest, Luke Shaw is not playing as a wing-back if he stays at Manchester United. Let's be honest. He does not have the capacity to run up and down for what a left wing-back requires, in my opinion. I think if Luke Shaw is to stay at Manchester United, left-sided centre-back rotation is a thing for him if he's available. But do you see, there's a lot of ifs. But left wing-back is not for him. I think Tyrell Malacia, once he does return to consistent football, has always, for me, been a rotation option. So Man United has to go out and sign a player. They have to sign a left wing-back. What about Sane? There's reports of him signing on a free. There's reports that Bayern Munich are looking to get rid of Sane, Gnabry, and who's the other guy? Coman and Kingsley Coman, all three of them. Now, if you don't remember, I think United were linked to Kingsley Coman sometime last season. I don't see us getting Leroy Sané, and I actually don't see us getting Kingsley Coman because I don't know why Manchester United would actually I don't know why they'd go for wingers when Amorim's system maybe doesn't really have your typical type of winger per se. It's like Man United signing like Kvaratskhelia and trying to play him as a wing back. To me, that doesn't make any sense. Shaw wouldn't be better as a left wing back since he loves to overlap. I just don't think he has the capacity to get up and down the pitch. That's it. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a press conference Erik ten Hag did last season where he was talking about potentially playing Shaw as a left-sided centre-back. And he specifically said that the reason why he was, pushing to have Luke Shaw as a left-sided centre-back, because that requires a lot less mobility, i.e. going up and down the pitch. And I don't know if he was alluding to the fact that Luke Shaw is unfit or he's unable to run, but he was basically saying that Luke Shaw would be a lot better off playing as a centre back than he would be playing as a left back, because being a left back or just any kind of fullback requires you to get up and down the pitch. Should have got Kadioglu. I don't know why Manchester United did not sign Kadioglu. Honestly, till today, I don't know why. And you know, Brighton they're gonna cash in on him in a couple of seasons. Once he kind of makes his mark in the Premier League, you know, Brighton's they're gonna end up cashing in on him. But that's kind of everything that's taking place right now for Manchester United in terms of in the world of transfer news. I already said this earlier in the season. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar, by the way, with this guy, and I'm just going to read an article right now from Give Me Sport. There's a young player called Sver Naipan. Do any of you guys actually know about him? Before we kind of get into it, now reportedly Manchester United believe that they can get Sver Naipan, 17-year-old Norwegian youngster that Manchester United have been tracking for the last 2 seasons, dubbed as the next Martin Odegaard. And reportedly Manchester United are planning to make their decision by December ahead of a move for him in 2025. They want to bring him in. Who the hell? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I saw this. Why are people still letting off fireworks? I saw people talking about this the other day, and I was like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I know who he is. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh my god, yeah, he's a baller. I don't want to lie to you guys. I do know a little bit about him, but just for some context, he plays in Norway at Rosenborg, 17 years of age, and like I said, dubbed as the next Martin Odegaard. He is a midfielder, 6 foot tall, 17 years old, and it's not just United that have been linked to him. Reportedly got a fee of 10 million, but Liverpool have been linked to him, and Arsenal have been linked to him as well. There were Naipan links last year as well. Yeah, I do remember it very briefly. I remember it earlier in the summer as well. But it never really transpired into anything. So that seems like it's also another thing for Manchester United to kind of keep an eye on. But if you guys have kind of forgotten, the new Ruben Amorim interview will drop in about 40 minutes. Yeah, exactly 40 minutes time. As I mentioned, it will be live on MUTV. And if you guys do not obviously have MUTV, don't worry, because you lot know the aggregators on Twitter will absolutely be dropping all the quotes, all the clips, all of that stuff. You lot don't need to stress about not seeing Ruben Amorim's first interview. You see the aura is going to be sky high, guys. It's going to be sky high. But big up to everyone. Listen, guys, did we get to equal number of likes? We didn't, which means somebody in the chat has been sat here all this time without liking the video. Guys, don't be a disgrace. It really helps with the algorithm, especially as a small channel. I'll be live on Twitch later this evening, probably after I have my dinner and relax a little bit, about say maybe 8-9 o'clock UK time. Obviously, as I mentioned, the boxing is on later tonight as well, very later tonight. But if you guys are going to do me a favor, guys, please go over and follow me on Twitch. It does not harm you. It takes 2 seconds. If you don't have a Twitch account, make a Twitch account. It takes 2 seconds. You just sign up with your number or your email, and you can watch me playing Call of Duty, because I do play Call of Duty on there, FC25, do play Ultimate Team, which I'm considering to stream, or NBA 2K, depending on what I'm playing. You guys can see it there. So it takes 2 seconds. So please click that link, go over and just press follow, and so that when I go live, you guys will get notified. But I will be back tomorrow, inshallah, God willing. We got weekend content coming. We got Make United Great Again coming tomorrow as well. Got a stream with Saeed on Sunday, I think. So it'll be a busy weekend of content. But big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. Of course, if there's any Manchester United news between now and tomorrow, you lot know I will be live. Hit the like button on your way out, guys. Much appreciated. And I will catch you lot all tomorrow. Have a good one. Peace.